Wow, for me, just the anticipation and sense of dread and terror and just, oh my god, so awesome to see. Just so awesome. Attack on Titan, Female Titan, 57th Expedition Beyond the Walls, Part 1.
Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and female titans of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and action-packed, grisly, gory, grimy, sometimes depressing, and now in English, tale of Attack on Titan. Now, last week, of course, there was not a new episode on Toonami. I have been watching it, for those of you that follow my reviews, with my family, and I've been watching it week in and week out now for about the last 18 or 19 weeks. And even though episode 17 was the one that just premiered this past weekend, it's been 18 or 19 weeks because on holiday weeks for Labor Day, like last week, they did not premiere a new episode, and then I believe it was 4th of July as well, they didn't. So anyway, I know that my family and I, we were pretty bummed last week when we went to look on the DVR. We usually watch it on Sunday sometime and sit down as a family. And there was no new episode. And then I looked it up and found out that, nope, they're not doing that. They had some kind of marathon to kind of catch people up and everything else. Nonetheless, though, the last episode that we saw, of course, saw everybody, the Scout Regiment, about to embark and leave out on the 57th Expedition. And that's pretty much it. That was where things left off. Things wind up picking up right there, and we see even just as they go through the gates and get out, and you got to remember that the gates they're going out in the area and the territory they're in just 4 years ago was actually occupied by humans. It's the outer circle, right, outside of Walmaria, and it's or Walrose, I'm sorry, Walrose, in between Walrose and Walmaria. Anyway, and it's miles and miles of huge rolling countryside and everything else, but as they're getting out and they're going through this initial, town or whatever, they have a team that has to go and kill Titans just to block their, to cover their escape, them getting out of there. So we wind up finding out and getting some information, which I really liked in this episode, about the formation, about Irvin's formation and how he sets it up. And the formation is set up in like a triangle, an arrow almost, and you have these forward scouts to the front and to the sides that basically go and ride, and they're literally hundreds or maybe even thousands of yards apart from each other, not in visible distance, but if they spot a Titan in the distance, or a group of Titans or whatever, they have different flare guns, for different colored flare guns that they fire up, to signal to the rest of the regiment, and then they can adjust accordingly and try to move around and avoid most of the Titans. Because, number one, we're on even ground now. It's not like you have all these buildings and stuff to project around, so these things out in the open are deadlier and even harder to kill, and not to mention, you have the risk as low as possible, and the casualty number is as low as possible. We also find out, too, very quickly into the episode, that Aaron and the group that he is with, obviously, Levi's group, have been, everybody's been told that he's in a different spot in there, so nobody really knows where he is. The reason for this, I think, is because I think that Irvin believes they might have like an inside person that's leaking information. If you remember, there was somebody that obviously killed the two Titans a few episodes ago that they had captured, so there's got to be a traitor amongst them. Nonetheless, though, very, very clever and very cool. This episode, though, the introduction, the female Titan that you see, absolutely awesome. You should have just seen the jaws dropped around the room that I was sitting in, with my 13-year-old, my wife, they're watching. This chick winds up coming. First, we run into this aberrant Titan that kind of crawls around on all fours, almost like a spider, and a couple of the Scout Regiment kind of narrowly, get away from him and what have you, run him into a tree, and you're like, oh, okay, that's great, that's cute, it's real funny, you're laughing about that. Then all of a sudden in the distance, man, just chucking up, right, like a freaking world-class runner from like Uganda or Zimbabwe, the female Titan comes running in. And she comes in and winds up just handily taking out these first two guys, man. One of them tries to, to shoot back and go for the nape of her neck, catches him in midair, grabs another guy's, his actual, how they shoot the, God, can't even think now, from their gear, their maneuver gear. Obviously, they fire out those, those hooks or whatever, those grappling hooks. She grabs the thing in midair and just goes, and just whips him down and just destroys him into the ground. Armin is witnessing the whole thing, and he winds up going and getting almost stepped on, kicked off his horse, and then she winds up going and just kind of like looking at him and leaving him. And I'm looking at her and we're going, what the hell? Why did she do that? Why is she not? She doesn't eat into people like the other Titans do. What you can tell immediately, though, by this Titan is that it's similar in look to the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan in the sense that it looks like she has this sort of like armor exoskeleton, and it looks like it's a thinking Titan, right? Not just the normal sort of like, you know, okay, just mindlessly eat everything that's there. The Colossal Titan came in, and remember Aaron talked about how he actually destroyed the cannons first, then went and destroyed the wall. The Armored Titan went directly for the wall that needed to happen. So this is a similar thing. This Titan, it seems like, is looking for someone or something. We figure out right away, or at least we think, Armin thinks, that it's Aaron that she's going for, because she just gets up and goes chucking off ahead, right? He winds up going and hooking up with John, or John, I guess. And he brings an extra horse to Armin. They go cruising off, and they decide that they're going to go and try to catch up to this broad and slow her down. And I'm thinking, are you crazy? So they do. They're like, you know, and all of a sudden John grew some big old balls, and he's like, you know what? I still am thinking about number one and me and everything else, but this is what needs to be done. So they go and try to take her on, you know, head on, and at least slow her down or whatever. And it's not looking good. It is not looking good at all. As a matter of fact, Armin winds up getting initially, he doesn't do shit. He's on the ground again, of course, getting taken out. John goes, and it looks like he's just about to get nailed. And all of a sudden, Armin starts going. See, Armin's smart, man. He's a thinking guy, right? And that's what I like about him. Armin knows that there's like a human inside there. He believes that this is like an Aaron type Titan. That's a person that can transform, whatever. And he believes the Titan is actually looking for Aaron. So he starts going and just saying, oh, as Jean's about to get nailed, by the way, and get killed, because this Titan's smart. Covers up the back of her neck where her weak point is, and she's about to go and it looks like, you know, just nail and kill a Jean. She winds up stopping dead in her tracks because Armin starts talking about how Aaron was trampled and killed in the right flank and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And even when they were going up on this Titan, he told everybody to put their hoods up so she didn't know who she was actually fighting against, and then she would not kill them because she's looking for somebody. So very, very smart thinking, man, right here. What Armin lacks in physical prowess and just in courage, I guess you would say, he more than makes up for in the planning and the brains department, man. This is a guy that you want going and figuring out your battle plan and laying everything out as like a general and putting you into battle, because this is a guy that thinks he's a tactician. He's smart, you know. But anyway, I was about to shit, man, because I thought that John was going to wind up dying. He winds up going and actually getting to land because Aaron is able to distract this female Titan for a second. And then out of nowhere, what comes riding up is Reiner, right? We haven't seen him in a while, but remember, he was a badass. Aaron was asking him for help when he couldn't balance in his gear, everything else. We know Reiner's supposed to be a big badass. So Reiner goes and comes flying at this thing, and he's going right for the, you know, he's going right, going to take it out. And she just, boom, just grab him out of midair, and I'm like, oh my god. And then she goes, and this was, I had to watch this 2 or 3 times, even in the original subtitled version, because I still don't get what happened. She has got him in her clutches. She goes and takes her finger, her thumb, and goes to push down over his head. They pan the camera away for a second for Jean going, no! And then it goes back, and you see like these little marks around, like these red marks, and you hear a poop, like a pop, and there's blood, it looks like, that comes out. But when you look at it again, I don't think it's blood, I think it's just these marks. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to show, like, yeah, she's trying to crush him, but she didn't actually crush him. Jean is, like, thinking, oh my god, he's thinking the worst, what's going on, like, Reiner's dead type of thing. Because then the next thing you know, all of a sudden, man, with, like, this cool-ass, like, spinning, swirly, whirly blade tornado move, man, Reiner's just, like, just comes flying out, busts her hand right apart, and comes flying out. One fluid motion grabs Armin, scoops him up, starts running like hell, and I'm like, what happened, you know? She's sitting there regenerating her hand, and then when she does regenerate it, she gets up and just goes chucking off to where she's going, which is headed up towards the center of their whole formation, which now, you know, Armin put 2 and 2 together and figured out that that's where Aaron is. So awesome episode, though. Awesome. And like I said, just jaws dropping everywhere, you know? And it was so funny because I try to, like, keep this stuff inside and not tell everybody, oh, this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a good... I just want to let them decide, you know? But it's so cool sitting there and just looking over and just looking at their faces like... You know, and even, like, when the female Titan first left Armin and didn't kill him or went... My wife was like, what? What the hell? You know, so cool, so good stuff. And then, you know, and then they were asking me, oh, and what's this? What's going to happen? I'm like, I don't know. And a lot of times I just played dumb, and I said, well, I don't really remember. You know, it was last year that I saw it, and I know there's some cool stuff that's coming up, but I can't remember which episode, you know. But I know which ones. no, I know what's coming. But, man, it's still cool to see. And again, the just for me, the English voice dub has been done very, very well.
I like all the characters. Matter of fact, one of the characters, one of the guys that died, is actually the one that does the English dub voice for Sanji in One Piece. And actually, a lot of the characters you can recognize their voices and whatnot. Many of them you can see that, you know, the voice actor talent pool through Funimation, whoever does that, you know, they probably use like the same couple hundred people or whatever, and depending on what they need for whatever series, because there's so many of them that you can hear. Well, they did it in this series, now they did it in this series. Very cool stuff, though. Awesome. And then just leaves you hanging, man. It just leaves you hanging. The female Titan is on the run and going towards, we presume, Eren. Armin, and everybody's just kind of like, what happened, right? And I mean, she's just, going to be a force to be reckoned with, boy. Especially a thinking Titan that's going to go and cover up their weak spot and whatnot. She knows there's a weakness there, and she's protecting it. And it looks like she's armored on top of it. So, you know, a Titan with titties is not a good thing. Trust me, folks. But man, that's how the episode ends off. My episode question for you, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts when you initially saw the female Titan, man? Boy, for me, personally, and especially in the English dub, they changed a little bit around with some of the background music to fit different things and whatnot. And it's just little subtle changes. But then, of course, the English dub, for me, is very good. I don't have to worry about taking my eyes off the action to read the subtitles. But I felt like this sense of terror and dread, like my stomach just dropped as I saw her just running up, and as she got closer, and you just see this sort of, this vacant expression on her face, and the hair is covering over, and the way it's done, and the animation is just so beautiful. Most of her face is dark and everything, and you're just like, and I just think of it almost like a Godzilla or something type of situation, like, holy shit. I mean, imagine if you had some crazy 40-something, tall-foot, big-ass bitch coming after you like that. Wow. Anyway, I want to know what your thoughts are when you saw the female Titan. Leave your answer to that question in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next Funimation. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a nice day.